Revolution.
On a brisk April night in 1775, a solemn calm blanketed the Massachusetts countryside. Flickers of lantern light from distant homes illuminated only pockets of the dark, leaving most of the land shadowed and still. Inside one such shadowed home, Paul Revere sat ready for his moment. Tonight, he would become more than just a silversmith. He would be the harbinger of revolution, a courier whose words could spell freedom or failure. The road to this night began long before Revere's famous ride. Tensions between the American colonies and British rule had been simmering for years, erupting over issues that at first seemed small. A new tax imposed by Parliament without the consent of colonial legislatures had met with resistance. From the Sugar Act to the Stamp Act, each decree seemed to encroach more on the freedoms and self-governance that colonists cherished. Protests, boycotts, and even skirmishes with soldiers ensued. This intolerable oppression would soon become too much to bear. In retaliation, the British had enacted the Coercive Acts, aiming to quell dissent by restricting the colony's autonomy and control over their own affairs. Boston, a focal point of revolutionary sentiment, bore the brunt of these new laws. Its port was closed, its trade halted, and troops occupied the city. Patriots like Sam Adams, John Hancock, and Revere found themselves at odds with their British occupiers daily. They knew a break was imminent. The only question was when. By April, British intelligence had pinpointed Concord as a storage site for colonial military supplies. The British General Thomas Gage, charged with maintaining order in Boston, decided it was time to act. He planned a covert expedition to seize the weapons and munitions stashed in Concord and to arrest the rebellion's leaders, who were rumored to be hiding nearby. Word of this plan reached Dr. Joseph Warren, a leader of the Patriot movement, and he turned to Paul Revere. Revere was known not only for his skill as a craftsman, but also for his strong patriot convictions and deep connections with other colonies. As a member of the Sons of Liberty, Revere had been entrusted with coordinating information across the colonies, and he often served as a courier of secret messages. But this night, the weight of his mission was heavier than ever before. As the British troops prepared to march, Revere, Warren, and fellow patriot William Dawes set into action. To alert the militias scattered through the countryside, Revere and Dawes had arranged a network of signals and riders. At Warren's order, the Old North Church prepared to light one lantern if the British were advancing by land, two if by sea. As Revere mounted his horse, a second lantern glimmered from the church steeple, its flickering light illuminating the quiet town with a clear warning. They were coming. Revere spurred his horse onward, racing down dirt paths that cut through farms and fields. With each stop, he shouted, "The British are coming!" Doors opened, and drowsy farmers came to life, grabbing their muskets and assembling at agreed-upon meeting spots. Revere's warnings raced ahead of him as locals passed the call along. A single voice on horseback became a chorus echoing through the countryside, rising above the night silence. As Revere neared Lexington, he met with fellow patriots, including Hancock and Adams, who were lying low to avoid arrest. They were heartened by Revere's news, but recognized the danger that lay ahead. In these early hours of April 19, 1775, the quiet villages of Massachusetts were mobilizing, assembling an army of farmers, blacksmiths, and merchants who were prepared to fight for their freedom. But the night was not without peril. As Revere pressed forward toward Concord, he was stopped by a British patrol. Though they detained him, Revere's warning had already reached far and wide. Dawes and another rider, Samuel Prescott, continued to spread the alarm even as Revere was briefly taken. He was later released, having done his part to spark a fire that would sweep through the colonies. When dawn broke, the colonial militias faced off with the British on Lexington Green, where the shot heard round the world would ignite the American Revolution. Paul Revere's midnight ride had been a success, ensuring that the British could not take Concord by surprise. Across the countryside, militias gathered in force, united in a purpose stronger than any single grievance or law. The revolution had begun, not in the grand halls of power, but in the hearts and minds of ordinary people. And Revere, though just a single writer, had helped set the course for a new nation.
Enjoyed this video? Give it a like and subscribe for more historical videos.